At last, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather Jr., HBO, Showtime Boxing, CBS Sports have come together up under this horizon and have created one of the biggest events in history, let alone boxing history. You're in for a treat. And I'm going to have it down in the link. So once you watch this video, you go down and you click into that and you get yourself prepared to put yourself into a mindset like back in the 70s when you saw the likes of Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman. These type fighters were sold into the soil of the boxing universe. And they were globally recognized and universally respected. This is what this production was. It was the Michelangelo of the boxing artistry. It's a piece of artwork. And the fact that they took the footage from back in the day, from when this all started, from where these guys were young and they were starting out their careers, and you can see there's the Marvin Hagler route and there's the Sugar Ray route. Regardless if Floyd Mayweather was an Olympian, he was robbed in the Olympics. He was a bronze medalist, so he wasn't embraced as a gold medalist Olympian, because you know how America embraces their gold medal Olympians. Look at De La Hoya, look at Sugar Ray. When you look at Cassius Clay, when you look back at I say Cassius Clay because that's what Muhammad Ali's name was when he won the gold medal. That's what's on his medal, Cassius Clay. When you look at the way that America takes and embraces their gold medal fighters, especially in the era of boxing, which was the 70s and the 80s, early 90s, you would be misled to think that Floyd Mayweather had that same road. Floyd Mayweather, once robbed of the Olympic gold medal, took the route of the cowboy with the black hat on. And you have Manny Pacquiao, once he crossed the line, and they draw this story out, but they really didn't tap into the bad boy image and the good guy image. They just kind of plagiarized it the way it looks to the naked eye, but they didn't quote unquote say it like they usually would in a promotion, because they did this one with tact and class, but in the same note, they really could have put onus on who's the good and the bad side. So as Floyd Mayweather was growing into becoming his own and being the guy that he's known and decorated to be right now in 2015, Money Mayweather, aka formerly known as Pretty Boy Floyd, they took the time out to just give you a flashback of his persona, due to the fact that he's not really playing that persona during this event right now because it doesn't need promotion. But back in that time, Floyd knew he needed to market himself as more or less the villain. The guy that in America's eye they do not like to look in the eye of that guy, which the brash and the bravado, getting the way he gets everything that he wants. And Americans have a funny time following that, except for in urban America, where it's embraced very well, and that's the divide between Pacquiao and Mayweather. Well, the fact of the matter is, Manny Pacquiao, once he got into the light and he performed under those lights, he was embraced and he was taken in under the Sugar Ray side with the white hat, the brash smile, and the committed following. He continued to blaze through fighters and also getting that decoration that Floyd ever so never got that following, if that's a phrase. It's just the way it is. Floyd never had that embracement. He had people to look at him and have a high appreciation for what he has and how he got it or how he took it. The brash bravado mentality, like the Cassius Clay mindset. Floyd knew he needed to take that in order to get himself to that pinnacle. These things all are played upon in this production. At last, they put a shine on it, like in the 40s and the 30s and the 20s. In those Hollywood nights with the minks and the gamblers and the gangsters. HBO is so powerful that they can make a production like this look absolutely yummy. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Once this production was done, you can put that conversation in the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. These conversations are ready now. This thing is put in the vault prior to the fight even happening now, due to the fact that it has so much substance. And HBO, with their great writers and their great production team, put this thing together in a light so you could appreciate what this whole entire hoopla has been about, with the Bob Arum, with the Floyd and Team Mayweather just clashing, with the media, with Larry Merchant and Brian Kenny attacking Floyd on a regular basis. Bring the fight. Why come the fight isn't happening? So you look at Team Bob Arum and his team, and they took the tilt of saying, well, he's scared, but we all know that fighters aren't scared of fighters. You have to take that stand, though, because it's great for promotion, but you know, you fight every day. Your toughest matches are in that gym. So needless to say, there's no fighters scared of any fighters. They all have one thing in common: making money. It's called prize fighting. Floyd is a control freak, and he likes control. You know why? I just said it a couple of minutes ago. Because the route he took, the heralded route, it was not. Manny Pacquiao took the Sugar Ray Leonard route. Floyd Mayweather took the marvelous Marvin Hagler route. He took the Bernard Hopkins route. He took the I have to take it and make it my way kind of route. The bravado, the brash cockiness like Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay, however and whoever you want to call him. But that's the route that he took. He was not handed anything. He had to beat De La Hoya in order to take De La Hoya's fan base, in order to bring those pay-per-view numbers that he did. And once he got that limelight and got from under Bob Arum's promotion at Top Rank, what you saw then is how he had to create the energy for the following. Whether love it or hate it, he needed the numbers, and that's how we got him, because he wasn't packing arenas. He was the B-side for the last time at the Oscar De La Hoya fight, and he is maniacal about never being the B-side again. So the promotion never being made, the fight never being signed up until this date was based upon him wanting total control on everything. It has nothing to do with fear itself. It was fear of not being in control. And if you look at his persona, you can see why it all makes sense. Manny Pacquiao, when you look at him and Freddie Roach, you see something absolutely special. And HBO brought that to the forefront. They're like a father and son team, regardless if they're not blood, family, father and son. What you see in them is unique and it's genuine, and you can believe it. And they do give mainstream America hope that the sport of boxing has a good side. Manny Pacquiao, with his biblical mindset, and he's always in that biblical and defensive prowess against the enemy, which he points that to be Floyd Mayweather and his lifestyle being the enemy. But Floyd Mayweather also has a stance. He also said, I'd much rather people hate me than love me for being something that I'm not. So this promotion, like I said, had been built in a way that Now it has a prestige about it that is undoubtedly one of the best promotions and marketing stints in boxing history and in sports altogether collectively. These moments that we're in right now, the moments that we're living in, the moment that we're living in right now will go down in history and never be forgotten, because it is one of the most important sporting events of our lifetimes, not just of this century, which is 15 years to the good now. This is one of the most important moments in our lives, because anytime you see an event of this magnitude, it's going to affect the country in ways that you don't know yet. If you're not in the world of business, politics, or yabla, at the end of the day, nothing generates $500 million that does not affect the economy, does not affect the country. Can't just hide that kind of currency in a 1 week period of time. This is going to be something special. And HBO finally brought it full circle to the forefront. For you, for me, for all of the sports fans, all of the mainstream, those who are not the boxing purists, just the casuals, are also being included into this production, this promotion, this fight, the marketing, everything. The last point that I'm going to make is they made such a big deal over this fight for such a period of time, and the thing that brought it all together was luck. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Both of the guys were ready. They fought and got themselves back to this point. Floyd has overcome things. He's never lost a fight, but he's overcome situations and performances to continuously elevate himself past the last performance to his liking and to his fan base liking. With the Marcos Maidana fight, and then you looking at Pacquiao, who came back from that stunning knockout where he was laying on the canvas. All you wanted to do is see his chest moving or his back moving, so you know this guy was okay. When you look at that, and he climbed himself back to this point, the entire documentary is what I'll call it, because it lasts an hour. At last. When you look at this documentary of about this sporting event that has been so desperately wanted and desired by the boxing fans, the casuals, and the mainstream public, it was a beautiful thing. And right now, without any more further ado, we are about to approach May 2nd. Along with all of this stuff happening that try to prevent this fight from happening. All the raw through social media. All the pounding and pounding and pounding on the door of this fight that happened. The fans were doing it. The promoters were trying to make it happen. Even the fighters was vying to make this happen. And it took a night in Miami, January 27, 2015, for them to stumble upon a basketball court and sit down in a hotel room and make it happen like the great and the late Joe Frazier and the heralded Muhammad Ali did for their first fight. Ladies and gentlemen, at last, I thank the HBO team and production for dropping that piece. Floyd Mayweather and Team Money Mayweather, TMT Promotions, Manny Pacquiao, Freddie Roach, Bob Arum, and Top Rank Promotions, and all of you who are following me. Carry out the ins and outs and the inside and the outsides of this event, and breaking the fights down, doing the demonstrations. For everyone who's been following me and my team while we are currently carrying this promotion from our side, showing our dedication to the sport of boxing. From the breakdowns verbally to the fight matchup and the stylistic matchups physically and visually, so you guys can get an insight on how this thing will look. I thank you, because it takes a lot to scuff down your exhaustion and go out and buckle down and consistently push it out for your fans and the followers and those who wish to learn and those who are in the fight game. I watched that production. I jumped out of my bed and I knew that I had to drive 4 miles to the studio and do this piece. And this was important to me because that's how dedicated I am to the sport of boxing. It's the AM. I should be 10 layers into my sleep right now, dreaming about something crazy good. And I'm here doing this recording because I know that I'm being and playing a part in a small role in a big way in something that's special in this sport, in this era, in this time, in this history. And I love being a part of history. And right now, like I said, without further ado, we're going to have a toast and we're going to have a cheer. Bear with me here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, at last, the fight is here. And with that, Team Master Boxing sends love to Team Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. And this is for you. Peace. They call me the Fight Doctor, and I thank you guys for watching, because you're watching Master Boxing. And this is where we break the fight world down, baby. Round by round. Peace. May 2nd. Mayweather Pacquiao. At last. Peace.